Okay, you can go when you're a little bit good. Yeah, it's my third time being here, and I think it's been spread over like 5 years. So I was not here every year, unfortunately, because I wish I was here every year. But yeah, over the last 5 years, I visited about 3 times, and I have to say, and this is what I said to everyone, this is one of my favorite places to go to in the world. This is no joke. I don't say this just because we're here now. It really is one of the best places to be. It's pretty, it's warm, it's a really nice environment, the people are friendly, great nature, the food is amazing, so I'm really happy to be back. Well, talking about exciting things, we do a lot of exciting things this time because we flew in together with Omega. We flew in 50 fans all over the world, and they are going to visit the show. We're going to do a show this week. So we really brought the fans here this time, which is different than normally, because normally you go somewhere and then fans come who live in that region. But now we flew over people from Europe and all over the place to just visit the performance this time. And next to that, I mean, there's so many things to do here. I'd like to go to Table Mountain. I like to go paragliding. I want to swim with the sharks. Hopefully, if we have time. This is all things that are still on my bucket list. South African bands or DJs. Well, for me, I know kind of a DJ band, Goldfish. I've been working with them in the past, and I've been doing performances with them in, I believe it was Durban or Johannesburg, in the past, and I'm a huge fan of them. They're really doing great stuff because they're one of the few acts that actually play their instruments live as sort of a DJ band. So one is really playing keyboard, one is playing saxophone, and sometimes they're even singing, and they do production themselves. So that's what I really like. It's really creative. It's different than normal DJs. So this is the thing, Black Coffee for me, I heard of the name and I know a few songs, but I don't know enough to be able to say if to have a good view of what they do. So I don't know enough, so I still have to look into that. How I got into DJing never really started out as a dream as a kid. It was more I wanted to be a musician, so I played in a really small band, a local band. I played the drums. I've been drumming for like 10 years, I think, and it was kind of funny because people around me were saying, "Hey, there's this local place. They're looking for DJs," and it was a really small place with only 200 people, 250 people. More of a bar dancing, and I had to start with doing the really gross jobs. So I had to, I had to clean the floors, and I had to like everybody starts somewhere. So I had to do that too. And the name was Scoop. It was really really small. I was really nervous at first time, and then I knew when I played the decks for the first time, I'm like, hey, this is something that's different than playing the drums because I'm able to control the crowd by what I play. I'm not only playing my instrument. Like I have control over everything, what's happening here. So that was interesting. And from that moment, I realized that you really need to make your own music. Otherwise, you're only playing someone else's music. So for me, that was really important. And from there on, it just naturally grew and grew and was local. And then it got more national. And then it got international eventually. And then it brought me to where I am now. Lucky me. My biggest career highlight, I would definitely say, well, there's obviously Tomorrowland that you have to, because Tomorrowland is one of those few things that's just so special to play. If you see this valley of people and all the production that they do and all the flags, it's almost intimidating. It's absolutely close to a dream of, I would say, every young man, to be able to perform for such a crowd. So I would say Tomorrowland. Next to that, there is just so many cool places. I've been performing in Iceland, which was a really cool experience. I've been to Japan, it was impressive to me too, and Ultra. So Japan and Asia is also a new thing that we haven't been there quite much yet, so that's something new for me too. But there's just so many highlights. It was also the first production I've done with David Guetta. There was the production I've done for Rihanna in the past. There's just so many highlights, and hopefully there will be much more. So Rihanna, yeah, well, I have to say honestly, the album Unapologetic was the pre-last album, so she released just a new one now. So I was lucky enough to be invited by David Guetta to work on Unapologetic on her last album. So I've done the song Right Now with him, and I worked a little bit on Fresh at the Runway, which was the first song on the album. And what I really do remember of that night, actually that week, was that Rihanna was just coming in. I mean, she was so humble with everyone. She was hugging everyone. She was cool. She was just, you know, hanging out with everybody, not overdressed, just like everyone else. Like, you would not recognize her as a superstar if you were there. Like, you would just think that she was one of us. You know what I mean? So that was something that was pretty special to me, and I try to carry with me sometimes when I see different situations. And she's just very pure, and I really like that. So her new album, yeah, I've been listening to it. It's very R&B, hip-hoppy. So I'm not quite a hip-hop listener. So I'm not really able to judge on what she makes. But I just think that she's a really good artist. So whatever she does, she has this very unique voice. Together with Esther Dean, she's been writing amazing songs in the past. So also this album will probably serve her really diehard fan base. So I'm a fan. So yeah. Well, there's quite a few people that I still like to work with in the future. One of them would definitely be Chris Martin of Coldplay, one of the artists that one of my friends, well, colleagues, friends, Avicii already been working with. So I'm really jealous of him in that way. But yeah, so there is many more. Bruno Mars, I really like Bruno Mars, especially his latest songs. Like songs like Uptown Funk are really refreshing to me. I think really important for the industry as well. Next to that, there are so many. I would like to work with, maybe one day with Hans Zimmer still. I've met him once. He's doing all the film music, and I think it would be very, very interesting to learn from what he knows of making music. Well, Avicii and me, yeah, we know each other for quite a while. I think 2011 or 2010 was the first time that we've met on a festival in Holland. It was called Leaf Festival. It was really small, and he was only just beginning, just like me. So we had a very cool chat that day. Like, you know, like I want to be a DJ and I want to be on that stage, on that stage. Just two very young kids that want to be somewhere. So that was the start of our kind of friendship. Yeah, so he's been doing really well lately. His albums did great, and I still talk to him on WhatsApp quite sometimes. And I think, well, hopefully we were trying to figure out to meet in February somewhere to do some studio time again, maybe to do a follow-up for I Could Be the One. You never know. He's quite busy though, and I think he's been doing so well in the last, well, let's say years, that I'm not quite sure if I can add something to that success, but hopefully it will just be like friendship and just make music. Well, this is a question that's been asked so many times. So why the Dutch DJs are so, I would say, do so well worldwide. But I don't think there's a secret ingredient, to be honest. But I think there's a few things that really work for us in Holland, which is, I think we all have the ability to do study. So everybody is able to do school, which allows you to develop your first interest for music. So I would say the weather in Holland is not that great all the time. So that means that people spend a lot of time inside. So a lot of people will just do computer work, you know, because the weather is just not that great. So there's a few things, and what I got told is that the Dutch people really have DNA from all over the world. So someone told me, I'm not sure if this is true, but if the Dutch people would survive, then you would have 90% of all the DNA worldwide still left over, because the Dutch people have been multiplying so many times everywhere over the world. So this is what I got told. I'm not sure if it's true. I'm just finding an answer to your question. But I think it's just a combination of all of this. And maybe it's just also luck. And we have very, very good DJs like Armin and Tiesto that started off the hype years ago. So they're a role model for the new generation. Well, the pressure of making music in general, or making a hit song, I think for 80% exists only in your own head. So I wouldn't say that fans would put pressure on me, because they totally don't. Of course, they're excited for new music. But when I'm a fan of someone, I'm also excited when they release something new. So I would not say I feel pressure from them. I would say I feel pressure from myself to, to deliver the next hit song or to deliver the next song, just because I want to be the artist that releases new music all the time. It doesn't mean necessarily that it always works like that. Sometimes it just comes naturally and sometimes it doesn't. And if it doesn't, you can force it, because that's just not how it works. I mean, inspiration comes and goes when it wants. And if you feel good, then things come up. And if you don't feel too well, then sometimes things don't come up, and you have to accept that fact. So no, I would not say that I feel pressure from the outside world. So not from fans, not from friends, not from family. It really is the pressure that I put on myself. Well, the only misconception that I really did not like, and it kind of touched me, I would say, was that people were writing that I was using drugs in the past and all this just because I was not feeling too well, or that did not look so great or whatever. That was the only thing that kind of hurt me, and it kind of touched me in some way. And also, yeah, I never did, because I live pretty healthy. I don't do anything. I really live a sober life when it comes to food and when it comes to health. So that's the only thing really. But next to that, I'm fine. Everybody can have their own opinion, and I kind of know how the industry works now and also how the world works. So I just allow everybody to have their own opinion. That's fine. In 5 years, hopefully I look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. No, I don't. No, not at all. No, in 5 years, I hope that I'm still in a very healthy place, able to make a lot of music, able to tour, to show the fans the best in me. And I would love to be able to do a world tour where I not only DJ, but where I also play instruments. So just what I did like 10 years ago, something like this. So in an ideal situation, I would see myself playing the drums on a few songs, playing maybe piano on a few songs, and also having a few live artists on stage. So it would be more of a live show in combination with DJing, of course. So in 5 years, I hope that this gets more life, and I hope that that these dreams, let's say, might come true. So when I was here for the first time, I did not really know what to expect from the crowds in South Africa, because it was the first time that time. And what I remember from my first performance is that the people were so into the music that I've played and that I played at that time, that I was like, whoa, this is a whole new experience. I did not expect anything like this, because most of the times when you come somewhere for the first time, the reaction is either really good, or either they don't know how to react. So that was the first time, and I was like, whoa, this is great. And then we played Ultra together with some other big DJs, and that was the moment where for me it felt like this place is ready. This place is just ready to explode in EDM-wise. So the last time when I was here, for me it felt like an explosion in EDM world in South Africa. I just did a new song with Nile Rodgers, and it was pretty cool. It was a different experience than I ever had. So we started off this song in Los Angeles with David Guetta, Nile Rodgers, and me. I was just supposed to be a producer that week, so I was just producing music all the time, and I do a lot of production with David, and he really helps me with projects and also with approaching radio songs, so we kind of learn from each other. And that week was a really special week, and we had a session with Nile Rodgers, and that time I did not know what Nile Rodgers has done in the past. I was just like, okay, he's a really good guitar player and producer, but I was not aware of everything that he's done in the past. So the funny thing was that he was just warming up his fingers playing a riff, and he was just like, and it was just cool, you know. He was just warming up, doing his thing, and then I remembered that Dave and we were looking at each other, and we asked the sound engineer to record that part where he was just warming up his fingers. And so he did, and only the warming up of his fingers became the song. So we created the song out of that part. It was just, well, it was pretty cool, and we did a whole song around it together with vocals and everything, and that's going to be the new single. It's going to be the new Nile Rodgers and Nicky Romero, and it will be out, I think, this month. There's going to be a music video, yeah, and it's going to be really funny. I saw the first draft of what they're about to do with the video, and it's so funny. It looks a little bit like, I would say 90s, 80s, 90s, like a little older vibe, maybe, yeah. So the song is called Future Funk, Nile Rodgers, Nicky Romero. It will be released the 26th of February, and we have a video releasing on the same day, and it's part of the trilogy. So we've done Lighthouse, and this is the second part. So it's kind of a follow-up, and it's the second part of the movie, and then we have a third one coming up right after.